I'm going to welcome people from all over the world who takes its cultural values and expresses them in three dimensions in decoded old buildings. Third, full disclosure, I am a nerd for life. I have an engineering degree I'm not using anymore, but I'm a nerd, so we're going to nerd out and talk. Going forth, we're going to tell some stories. Everyone loves stories, right? We're going to talk about journey on this smart tour quest, because you guys are wicked smart, right? Our question is why? So, in Chicago in the early 1920s, copying and pasting here from Europe. Wasn't until later we came to our next building in front of us, the spectacular trophy of one of the architectural styles that we're going to talk quite a bit about today, and it's called contextualism. Check this out, look up there with me. On the other side. So what I'm saying, guys, it's acknowledging its three neighbors' heights. Isn't that cool? Site-specific, the world's tallest architect. You know why? Because he comes in at the staggering height of 5 feet 7 inches. We call him that because he makes the tallest buildings in the world, including the current tallest building in the world. Penthouse sold $20 million a couple years ago. Towers of Marina City. And these guys are pie-shaped apartments, each with their lobed balconies. I got a buddy who lives up. Practically nobody was living in the city center. You worked downtown, you went home, but you didn't really feel this self-sufficient, autonomous city within a city where you can live above your luxury yacht, live above your valet parked car, live in restaurants, or in movies to this river, because it's bringing citizens down to the river as never before. In fact, you get citizens this close and you'll see what looks like clarifying key proportions, a classic 30-degree pitch of the roof. This particular building, designed by the late Ricardo Belfiore, our subway system, the trains are called L because many of them are elevated and they literally make a roof. This is the late 1920s, that's the roaring 20s. The Jazz Age. They wanted an architecture that expresses an polished Indiana limestone, precision repetitive patterns, decorative metal on the outside of the building. The heads and the posts, guys, those look like pedestals, 360 degrees of amazing. Okay, this is kind of the trophy case of Chicago's architecture, because almost everything we're going to see around here is new within the last contextualism. The curve of that reflective glass building not only imitates, but this is where Ferris Bueller's dad worked in that iconic Chicago documentary, Ghost in the Tree Story. We're here at Wolf Point. The Joneses have been named for us. Look up here, see the current hot pot. I think it looks more like they're going to thaw out as they cut through those 4-foot thick walls to make the balconies and windows. They discovered the walls had been stuffed with matted horsehair and cork. That's what they use as insulation. Yes, they open. We'll talk more about them. Over to the left, oddly shaped. It's like living not just for the unique shape of the building, but for even having come and live up here. But he helped Chicago. So far, so good. Here's what's going to happen. Our captain. It looks like a bottle of wine upside down in the ground. As you look at this white fiber, yes, the buildings are dynamic. They are designed to bend but not break. Very cool. The first one, this building has what's called correcting for that movement. It's like a big giant water shock absorber to build one of these. This skyscraper costs about $850 million. Look how this is what we call our time machine. Literally, this figure to tell us what was going on, right? It's our 3-minute TED Talk. Okay, that's what it is. The first one you see ring, very little demand for new office buildings around the country. Between about 19 Booth gets all the way down to Box Modern Van der Rohe. Pretty influential dude. He was the, think about it, 1980s, who was around? Culture was shift, big hairband, shoulder pads, the world was changing like the glass to teach society to get along in a changing world and context. from beautiful European cathedral. Story time, right? So gather around here. You guys may have heard we had a really big fire storm of Willis buildings. That's good. Left one up. It's a lot more playful than that, guys. And it comes in with how did the fire start? And in the end, nobody really knew. She started. I think it was a cowspiracy. Move on. That's it. That's it. Come on, give it up. Hashtag that. Urban fires attract architects who came from around the country to rebuild this city, which explains where we're on an architectural boat tour here today. The annual burning was part of the tour. They like what they saw. Here's what's going on. Yeah, Midwest Plains, why not? Paris on the Prairie, big boulevards, fountains, monuments, public art, great vistas. He wants Chicago to be a city in a garden. Not a garden. 1909. Well, Grant Park itself, the whole front lawn, the whole playground of the city of Chicago, that's all landfill. There was nothing there. That's on the burning plant. Museum campus, landfill, burning plant. Navy Pier, landfill, burning plant. How about this? The concept of the Riverwalk was on the 19th Energy and Environmental Design. Chicago one's one of us. Did you know in 1930, this was the largest, not the tallest, building in the world? How big? 25 floors. Where there's hedge homes in there. There's still be some trade shows, and they are lighting it up at night. Now this is something y'all are not showing the windows. See these stainless steel posts at the mini habitat, so that somebody check this out. Did you use a warehouse building on the left was because they cleaned up the brick facade on the left to mini green art deco to the opinion section of you guys. What do you think? East Coast cities tend to crowd their buildings, okay? Which has, I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Look straight ahead as we emerge from under the bridge. Overwhelming, feel that East Coast high energy vibe. Now, East Coast city planners choose to build like this because they need to sell. Would you say Chicagoans themselves, maybe a little more laid back, maybe not so much in a hurry, not so intense as our friends on the East Coast? Maybe I think that's Space Chicago Tribune Tower. Now, this guy's called French. Remember, we said in the early 1920s Spanish cathedral, the Trib Tower, we just said, call it after a French cathedral next to it. Our next building, guys, is the John Hancock Tower. Aqua Tower. It's a high-end residence and hotel. Each unit has its own unique balcony. Those are balconies, which together makes the building high-end residence and hotel. Cheapest hotel room, $700 a night. I think he might try to chart. We'll see what he does. The fountain goes off every hour on the hour. It's a long story, but it means the water from the lake is now flowing out to the west, basically flushing out the river system all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. Two blue horizontal stripes stand for the two bodies of water, the lake and the river. The three white horizontals of Chicago's history, all right? As we come under 1909, now it's one of the biggest cultural photos and no sharks, no salt. Nice one, Sandy Beach.